Emily sat on a weathered wooden bench tucked between two tall office buildings, the city buzzing restlessly around her. Lunch breaks were her only pause in the chaos of deadlines, emails, and endless meetings. She pulled a crumpled brown bag from her purse and unwrapped the same simple meal she ate most days, half-stale whole wheat bread with a thin layer of peanut butter and jelly. It wasn't fancy, but it was affordable, and it kept her going until dinner. As she lifted the sandwich, the world suddenly seemed to quiet. From the corner of her eye, she noticed him, a homeless man sitting cross-legged on the sidewalk just a few feet away. His clothes were tattered, his beard unkempt, and his hands trembled as he held his stomach. His eyes, tired yet piercing, were fixed not on her but on the sandwich in her hands. Emily froze, her own hunger gnawing at her stomach. It was her only meal for the next several hours, yet she felt a pang deeper than hunger, a tug of conscience. She imagined what it must feel like to sit in the cold, surrounded by rushing strangers, while your body begged for food and no one stopped to notice. The city noise returned in a rush, honking horns, snippets of conversation, the hum of life moving on. But for Emily, time slowed. In that moment, one question echoed inside her: should I keep this for myself, or share it with him? Emily's hands trembled slightly as she looked at the sandwich resting in her lap. Her own hunger gnawed at her, but the image of the man's hollow eyes and frail body refused to leave her mind. She took a slow breath, then stood up, clutching the sandwich as though it was more than just food. It was a choice, a statement of who she was. She walked over and crouched beside him. The man startled at first, lifting his head in disbelief. Emily gently tore the sandwich in two and extended one half toward him. For a moment, he hesitated, as if uncertain whether it was really meant for him. Then his shaky fingers reached out, and he accepted it with such care, as though she had just handed him something sacred. "Thank you," he whispered, his voice raspy and weak. "You don't know how much this means." Emily smiled softly. "It's not much," she replied, "but I hope it helps." He took a small bite, his eyes closing in relief, savoring every crumb. Watching him eat, Emily felt her stomach tighten, but oddly, her heart swelled with warmth. She returned to her bench and nibbled at her half. The bread was dry, the jelly barely sweet, but it tasted different now, more meaningful. For the first time in weeks, she didn't feel alone in this city of strangers. Kindness, however small, had connected two souls in need. And in that quiet moment, she felt richer than she ever had before. Emily brushed the crumbs from her lap and sipped from a half-empty water bottle. The homeless man sat a few feet away, slowly chewing, his shoulders less tense than before. For a fleeting second, the noise of the city seemed softer, as though the world had paused to witness this small act of kindness. Then, the sharp growl of an engine broke the moment. A sleek, black limousine glided to a stop at the curb, its polished surface reflecting the afternoon sun. Pedestrians slowed their steps, heads turning toward the unexpected luxury. It wasn't every day that such wealth pulled up in the middle of a crowded downtown street. Emily glanced at it curiously, assuming it was just another executive arriving for a meeting nearby. But when the tinted back window began to lower, her breath caught. A pair of observant eyes studied her from within, calm yet searching, like someone who had been quietly watching for some time. Before she could look away, the rear door opened. Out stepped a tall man in an immaculate gray suit, his silver hair neatly combed, his presence commanding yet strangely warm. He ignored the gawking crowd and walked straight toward Emily. Her heart raced. She looked at the homeless man, then back at the stranger approaching her. Confusion swirled in her chest. Why was he coming to her? The man stopped a few feet away, his voice steady and kind. "I saw what you just did." Emily blinked, unsure if she had heard him correctly. The man's words seemed to hang in the air, cutting through the city noise. He glanced at the homeless man still nibbling his sandwich, then back at her, his eyes filled not with judgment but with quiet admiration. "I saw how you shared your lunch," he continued. "Most people walked right past him without even noticing. But you stopped." Emily shifted uncomfortably, clutching her bag. "It was just a sandwich," she murmured, embarrassed by the attention. The man shook his head. "No, it was much more than that. You gave when you didn't have much to give. That kind of heart is rare." He reached into his jacket and pulled out a sleek business card, pressing it into her hand. Emily read the embossed letters, her eyes widening. He was the CEO of one of the largest companies in the city, the kind of company whose name was printed on skyscrapers. "I've been searching for people like you," he said, his voice steady but filled with meaning. "People who see beyond themselves. I want someone like that on my team." Emily's mouth fell open, stunned. Around them, passers-by had slowed, whispering, staring at the surreal scene of a man stepping from a limo to offer opportunity to a woman holding a half-eaten sandwich. For the first time, Emily realized her simple act of kindness had been witnessed, and it was about to change everything. Emily stood frozen, the glossy business card trembling in her hand. Her mind raced. Was this real, or just some impossible dream? The homeless man looked up at her with soft, grateful eyes, a faint smile spreading across his weary face as though he, too, understood the gravity of this moment. The CEO gestured toward the open limo door. "I can't promise you an easy road," he said gently, "but I can promise you a chance. A chance to use that heart of yours where it matters most." Emily swallowed hard. She thought about the endless nights of budgeting, the stale sandwiches, the weight of always trying to stretch every dollar. She thought about how, just minutes ago, she had debated whether to hold on to her food or share it. And now here she was, standing at a crossroads she never saw coming. With a shaky breath, she turned to the homeless man. "Take care of yourself," she whispered. He raised his half of the sandwich in a small salute, his smile brighter than before. Emily then stepped toward the limo, her reflection glimmering across the polished black surface. Sliding into the leather seat, she felt as though she wasn't just entering a car, but stepping into an entirely new chapter of her life. As the door closed softly behind her, the city outside seemed to fade. A single thought echoed in her heart: sometimes the smallest kindness unlocks the greatest miracles.